welcome back to yet another week of EastEnders Weekly, where we review the show EastEnders every week.
You always seem surprised every week by what you're presenting.
Well, just in case people don't know yet.
Yeah, but you seem like you're not. You don't even know.
I don't know.
We host a show about EastEnders.
Well, questionable.
Well, that's true.
Especially this week.
What the show's questionable,
Yes.
or whether we should review it.
Both. But we're here. We have to be. And we're doing the episodes that were broadcast between the 21st and the 25th of October.
We're here. We're ready to go. But before we do... Oh, I'm Alex, by the way.
Hello, I'm Ben and I'll be your host today.
Yes, and I will be your co-host. The second most popular host of the show.
Maybe Stuart will be here next week on his 5th job.
Yeah, hopefully dressed as a hot dog. I like to see him dressed, handing out flyers for our show, letting people know that we're here. Some people who do know we're here is our shout out of the week, and people have reached out to us. More people have reached out to us, so we've got a queue now, Ben. We've got people waiting to be shouted out at.
Yeah, you're going to start paying soon.
So at TX Wildflower 77 got in touch. She let us know that she was running a bit behind with her episodes of EastEnders, but she's all caught up now. And she's ready to listen to all of our podcasts, to catch right up to the most recent episode, probably including this very same episode. And
that's dedication.
It is good for her. And she is able to read our live tweets again, which, by the way, just in case people didn't know, we live tweet every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday when EastEnders is broadcast on TV in the UK.
And Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, just random things.
We just rant about
mainly
things
about
now.
Pat Butcher.
Pat Butcher, Hollyoaks is now in there. Coronation Street. We're Jack of many trades, masters
It was a very
of
busy
none.
evening, Coronation Street. Heavy hour that was.
Ugh, I know.
God.
Lucky I had work to do. I wasn't really paying much attention.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
You were
I was so up last week for being really upset while watching Corrie, even though I didn't watch Corrie. But no, didn't hit one, didn't even cry once.
Yeah, it wasn't even a big week if you think about it. Like it wasn't like Britain's Got Talent week or anything like that, or Christmas week. Although they tried to make it like Christmas, didn't they? Anyway, back to our shout out.
Wasn't good.
So a shout out to at TX Wildflower 77 on Twitter, who's binged a month's worth of EastEnders and has finally caught up and is able to now listen to our show and watch EastEnders in real time. So good for you.
She's on the bus.
She is. As I say, we've had a couple of people who've asked for shout out, so keep listening because we'll do a new one every week.
It might be you.
It certainly will.
I want one next week.
Too late, you have to wait. But if you'd like a shout out, you need to get in touch with us on Twitter at EastEnders Week, on our Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. Quickly, we had an email this week as well, Ben.
Email?
We did.
What's that?
From Robert Easter. I know, it's weird that emailing is seen as kind of a bit old hat now. It's like, oh, you want to do an email? Send us an email. Robert Easter has sent us an email, and he's not happy about the rules of our game, or my game, last week, Top Tubs.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote, if I heard correctly, did Alex not cheat a little?
Probably.
On the questions where the category was the lowest score, surely the lowest score of the two should be the winner, not the highest of the two. Or did I hear wrong? Now,
why should it be?
You should defend this. You should say...
Oh, I don't know. I've never played Top... What's it called?
It's Top Tubs. You did.
The actual one, I mean.
Top
the real
Trumps.
one. I've never played Top Trumps, so I don't know.
The real one is Top Tubs now.
Yeah.
We're trademarking it. We're going all the way.
Everyone wants the Top Tubs.
I thought it was a tactical thing that if you had if you went for a low score, then it's a bigger risk, but a bigger reward. as in, if you won a lowest score category, you're seen as a better player. So I thought it was the higher one. But do get in touch, everyone, and let me know if I had cheated.
I don't understand what anything means.
But it's important because if I had cheated on that one, that means we would have drawn.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you kind of want to cheer.
Yeah, I'm just confused. I don't really understand what's happening.
You just come in.
Yeah, here to look at tubs.
Drink your coffee and leave. That's your day. Anyway, thanks again for everyone who's got in touch. Don't forget to keep listening to the end of the show where we'll read out more of your messages that you've sent to us and also who won the week of EastEnders.
That's right. So we're going to start up our roundup now when we're starting with the Taylors/Atkins because some quite hard-hitting developments in the Chantelle storyline. Basically, more heartbreak and things that you just didn't want to happen for poor Chantelle.
I know, as if she wasn't in enough trouble already. She's now in even more trouble.
There you were a few weeks ago saying she's got 9 months of, safety, inverted commas. Maybe she were to get through to Grain these 9 months, a brand new start, and then this hits them.
Little did I know that this was going to be the story. I mean,
Very dark.
she's instantly blaming herself as well for that she's had a miscarriage, and she's blaming herself immediately because Gray's been warning her the whole time that she shouldn't be working, and that if she overstresses herself or does too much, that she's going to damage or upset herself.
She's not blaming herself though, is she?
She is.
She knows that what she's saying to Karen is what Gray's going to basically be thinking of her. So in a way, she's like double checking what Gray's going to say. And
yeah, but I don't
think
think Karen's a very good barometer to know what Gray's going to say, because Karen's obviously going to be very sympathetic about the situation. And I think Chantelle's blaming herself because she knows that Gray's going to blame her, which you just said. And so she's securing herself immediately. She's putting the shield up straight away, that if she can almost get the fear out of her immediately, like now, then when Gray does find out, or she admits it to Gray, that perhaps it won't be quite so bad.
But she's pretending to Gray that she's still pregnant as well, isn't she?
Which she's not pretending she's still pregnant. She's just not
she was wearing
telling...
the maternity
Well, yes,
clothes.
she wore that maternity clothes that he won, but she's not really telling him otherwise. You know what I mean? So she's not really... He keeps asking her about the baby and keeps feeling her stomach, and she's flinching a bit. And so he is spotting that she's not so enthusiastic about the child, the pregnancy. And I think he thinks it's because he revealed it to everyone at the pub, which he did do out of spite, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But he's feeling a bit guilty about it now, because of his counselling, perhaps.
Well, yeah, counselling. He's not going to counselling. He said to her she is. I don't believe it.
I mean, we've not seen any scenes of him doing the counselling.
Exactly, so it's not happening. If we haven't seen it, it's not happening. He's not going. And it's a bit worrying because no matter what Chantelle does, she's going to be in the wrong in Gray's eyes. Because if she went out and told him, "Oh, I had a miscarriage," straight away, then he would be blaming her for going to work and stressing. But now that she's kept it a secret, when it does come out and she said, "Oh, I lost it months ago," he'll say, "If you told me then, I wouldn't have been mad, but now I am mad." So whatever she does, he's going to find a way to twist it.
Well, she's in a catch-22 situation. You're absolutely right. If she says it to him now, he's going to say, "Well, I told you shouldn't have worked," and then get quite possibly physical with her. And as you say, if she tells him a month or 2 or 3 down the line, I mean, he's going to start noticing. He's started to notice now, and it's a very frightening situation for Chantelle, and you can tell that she just doesn't trust Gray still to not get physically upset.
Well, he will now,
toward
won't
her.
he? There's nothing stopping him, as it were.
I know.
It's a really dark, horrible storyline. But yeah, I mean, she confided in her mum Karen, and then Karen had like a bit of her own storyline this week with Bailey, where she's still not sort of forgiving Karen about her mum. That's right, her mum. I'm not saying the name. I can't pronounce it.
Whose mum? Bailey's mum?
Yes. And
we don't want to get into trouble over this again.
Yeah, and the way this storyline turned out at the end, to begin with, I was thinking, like they've decorated her bedroom with telescopes, and I was like, oh no, not again.
But Professor Pop and the Planets?
Yeah. She's a bit young for that, I feel.
Yeah, it did sound like a kind of show that, especially Bailey, who's a very mature mind.
I thought
anyway.
They were going to say like David Attenborough or something. But the way it ended, where she said that because she noticed that she'd been wetting the bed, so she washed everything in her room. And then when she mentioned about her mum's cardigan, I thought, oh, that's something that has a spin on it that I didn't think about, which I thought was quite sweet.
It's the only thing that reminded her of her mum, the smell of her mum still. And Karen accidentally has washed it. And obviously Bailey's quite upset. And just when Karen was starting to build bridges with Bailey as well, like Bailey was beginning to...
Look her in the eye.
Look her in the eye. Yeah. Not be angry at her and not blame her for everything. For starting to forgive Karen for the truth that came out a couple of weeks ago. And again, the wall got knocked down again because then she did something wrong concerning Bailey's mum again. So it's difficult for Karen because she can't really do...
again, isn't she?
She just can't do anything right.
And it was interesting where she kept saying to Mitch, "Don't mention the pregnancy. Be nice around Chantelle." So she's keeping it secret too.
Well, she told Mitch not to visit Chantelle. She said give her some room, let her have some breathing space.
It didn't tell her why, but probably wise.
It was interesting also that Karen revealed that she had had a miscarriage too. And you reminded me when we were watching that Bernie had a miscarriage.
Karen did mention it back when Bernie had a miscarriage too.
Oh, okay.
So there's some continuity there.
Yes, good.
Surprise, surprise. But that was good. But we've also just remembered we've not mentioned Ash, the doctor.
Oh, Dr. Ash. Yeah, she was the one supporting Chantelle when she went to the clinic after she spotted that she had miscarriage.
And she's a good doctor because she's got Dr. Ash mode, where she's professional. And then she bumped into Chantelle in the real world, doesn't mention it, doesn't blab to Honey like a normal EastEnders doctor would.
Well, you didn't see the scene. You just saw Chantelle talking to Honey because Honey kept gushing over like, "Oh, it's so nice to be a mother and you're pregnant and
don't lift heavy milk."
Yeah. Don't be lifting those cartons. And Ash kind of walked in and just gave her a sympathetic smile. So, do you reckon there's going to be more of a story between Ash and Chantelle to develop?
I hope so. Maybe she might be like the first one to see. Because that nurse noticed that Chantelle may be being beaten. Maybe Ash works with that nurse and it will get going that way, maybe.
So they kind of collude and find out more and more information. They put the jigsaw
But I like
pieces
Ash.
together.
She's a nice little addition.
I like
Surprise.
Ash. It's annoying me a little bit that they're almost making the audience feel like idiots when they keep saying, "Oh, Ash's family. She doesn't want to meet Ikra. Well, why is that? No one knows why." And it's like, we all know why.
Knows.
We're not fools. We know that, but they haven't officially announced that those three are her brothers. But we're not stupid. They've introduced them at the same time as Ash, and Ash is embarrassed, and we know she has brothers. You know, it's really annoying me that they think that the audience are stupid not to click on to that straight away. We know that.
Plus, the introduction to those brothers is so weird. Like they've just been disappeared for 2 weeks.
But the third one, spoiler. Fast forward through 30 seconds. The third one is going to be coming next week. Yeah.
All three are back.
Hooray!
Whoop whoop.
I mean, at least one of them will be worth returning. Raise one eyebrow.
Two of them.
But we have not. Well, one that we haven't met yet.
Anyway, so let's talk about our favourite internet stalker.
Yeah, right deep dived into the
Very
web
good.
this week,
He should
didn't
do personal detective work, not work with Gray.
Oh, he's a solicitor. He has to find the background information
wow.
of a case that no one knows about.
Really?
I love that he was asked 100 times by like loads of different people, "What case is it again?" And every time he just changed the subject, he was like, "Oh, you know,
Tony King."
yeah, some case, and no one knows why.
Yeah, so there's been more, shall we say, rewriting of Callum's backstory.
Yeah, I know.
Such a blank canvas for 2 years. You can literally just say whatever you want about him.
Anything they like. All they've got on the history is he shot Mick when he first came in.
And he used to wear a hat.
Oh,
I noticed actually on that video he wasn't wearing a hat.
Ah, that's
that was
interesting.
In the past, so why was he not wearing the hat?
Yeah, that was his trademark for a long time. That little woolen hat. Oh, may he rest in peace. I miss Halfway's hat. Do you reckon he'll ever come back?
Maybe next week. But yeah, so I thought that interesting. But yeah, we had Leo going for interviews with Gray, which we kind of knew last week. But they've been working at home together. Very hot little couple there.
Oh, goodness me. You've mocked up a still of a picture of Gray and Leo, and you put a quite well-known pornography brand in the bottom right-hand corner.
I didn't take that still, someone else's.
Yes, but the fact you then mocked it up to look like the title card of a porno movie.
You'll call me Leo. That's what he would do.
What would you name a porno movie, everyone out there, between Leo and Gray? We'd be interested in your names.
That'd be a pun on 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, it'd be a pun on either of them.
The Leo King.
Oh, yeah.
Brings colour to Gray's cheeks. I don't know. Anyway.
Right.
We also had, on his way to his interview, Slag, the slag of the town. Now Pat's dead.
I know. How dare they call Whitney a slag? She's not a slag, to be fair to her.
I know, but we saw someone spray paint it. The person who played the arm has got in touch with us.
Yes, he has. So we actually know who it actually was.
But who was he playing? We don't know.
We don't know.
At first I thought it was Ben, because I thought I recognised his iconic coat from his first ever cast cards.
But as I said, Ben's got far too many stories. He can't have another one thrown into the
He was
pot.
busy at the time because he was dancing or something. But then obviously I thought...
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, probably. Was that this week, him dancing?
Dancing to Black Magic by Lil Mix.
Nice hips. But then I thought, oh no, obviously it's Leo because he's setting things up for Whitney. So we don't know it's Leo, but it's got to be. It's
presumed it's Leo.
He keeps watching and he walked past and offered to help scrub it off.
Yeah, which he did a good job. Did you notice?
It's because he did it. I know what will get this off.
yeah.
I've got just the solution.
I recognise this paint. It's the same as on my sleeve right now. Yeah, him and Callum both helped Whitney clean the graffiti.
So
Whitney
nice
really didn't do very much. Like, by the time Leo had taken off the S for slag, and then he was like, "Oh, I better get going. I've got work to do today."
A few hours later, Callum walks by.
Like, she's still working on the G. She's not very good, is she?
Well, I might spray paint it this week and call it lazy slag then.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Sloppy slag.
But yeah, she took it quite well for Whitney. She didn't seem that bothered.
Well, she accused the girl who had shoplifted from her on Monday. So she thought, oh, it's probably her. She's probably a bit bitter, so I'm fine about it. And then,
my designer jumpers I designed.
She spent the whole day cleaning slag off her stall. like, you can't make any money by not selling anything. She could have covered the back of the stall with like all her clothes and then just spent the evening cleaning it off. Why did she do it in front of the hot market full of people so everyone could see that she was cleaning slag off her stall?
And none of the market holders offered to help.
No.
Obviously, Whitney's not very popular.
Well, considering the market is like all friendly, everyone
That's what I mean.
everyone helps each other out.
What happened to Kush? Everyone would be over there helping him.
Yeah, if Martin dropped a few apples, everyone would come running over and start picking them up for him, like Pikmin.
Obviously, Whitney's not very popular with her close stall.
Well, she got that
taking
pitch.
Customers.
Yeah, she probably got that pitch through a bribe or favours.
Slag.
Wink. Yeah, slaggy favour. What a slag.
But apart from all of that, obviously we had Leo working on the mysterious case. And he sort of opened up to Gray and said why he wants to be a good-hearted solicitor. He's not in it for the money. He doesn't want those big money cases. He wants the people who can't defend themselves and they need to prove themselves innocent because his dad was in a similar situation.
Yeah, who's his dad? Is this another situation where we're not meant to actually know?
The storyline would be so much better if we didn't know.
It would be 100% better. See, this is a situation where it would be a bit like Ash's and the brothers. Like,
trying to work out who this guy was. We've said that before, but it would be so much better.
Ruined by Bianca's return, which we keep
wasn't
saying.
worth it.
Bianca's return wasn't worth the hassle we're having because it would be more mysterious. Why is he trying to upset Callum? We know now why he's trying to upset Callum.
Yeah, because you might think he's like from the army, but we know everything, so it's just like we're kind of just waiting for this weird guy to unravel. So it's a bit of a shame.
He has got sinister in his eyes, though. He does play crazy well, doesn't he? Like when he just stares into space,
creepy.
Just out into the open, and like without anyone kind of seeing him, you can see him calculating in his mind the next step. I mean, Gray did call him brilliant, but a bit crazy this week.
You got to worry. And he had that video, which is that weird case which we don't know what it's about.
I don't think there is a case. The video of Callum.
There must be a case because he showed it to Gray, didn't he?
He was using it as an excuse to show it to Gray. I think initially he was going to say to Gray, almost as a seed for Gray to then kind of leak it. Yeah, and to leak it to other people. But then I think he just couldn't be bothered to wait. And so then just went straight into the kill and said to Whitney, "Oh, I want to show you some website or something I found on the..." and then kept the video open at the bottom.
Yeah, Callum Highway, look here.
yeah.
Whitney, click.
Yeah, clickbait for Whitney.
Yeah, interesting video though, isn't it?
It does put Callum into a bit of a different perspective. I mean, you can't use the excuse of, "Oh, just trying to hide my sexuality from my friends." You can't use that in that situation.
Because they did, on the video it says, take off her bra. They say to Callum, take off her bra, and they laugh at him and say, "Oh, have you never taken off a bra before?" And he's not physically doing anything, and he is kind of backing away, but at the same time...
But to not make... Yeah, but to not condone them and to condone them, I should say, and to not kind of stop them and say, "Guys, come on, this is disgusting. Let's stop. Let's get her to a medical centre and try to help her out." But
where was she? Just in a dorm?
It looked like she was sat in like an alleyway in a dumpster, I thought.
It's very dark, can tell.
Yeah, but the whole video is dark.
I mean, was Callum's ex Chris there? Is this the same night that photo was taken?
That's true. Was this...
His hat was off then.
Yeah. He only takes it off for Chris. And Ben. I know, it's very suspicious. I mean, there was a few kind of, this Callum really? Because I said...
It seems out of character for him. Like, even when he was straight, inverted commas, like, he was still a bit soppy, wasn't he?
Well, I thought it was going to be more of a haze kind of video. You see, like, you hear about college frat parties.
Like in the army or in the barracks.
That's it. It's an initiation service that they did to some guy.
In the shower blocks.
That's right. They tied him up naked and kind of threw stuff at him or something like that. I thought, because that's quite bad, but to make it a video where essentially it was very similar to the Ruby story, and Whitney was quick to remind him of that too. Yeah. And Lola in the background was going, "Yeah," every time she says like Lola.
Since when have Whitney and Lola been friends?
Well, they weren't. They were just happened to be in the same place at the same time, and Lola was kind of watching over the shoulder.
It's just a catalyst to put something in between Ben and Lola and Callum, isn't it?
It's just because Whitney was obviously still very good friends with Callum, and so I think Whitney took Callum's advice to maybe perhaps take a step back and not get into a relationship so quickly with Leo. But Leo wants to get the ball rolling and get the train running and start the process of basically getting Whitney to admit that she wrongfully accused his dad of doing something. I mean, in his eyes.
Yeah, to stand up to Callum a bit, he did say to Whitney, "Oh no, wait, watch the end of the video, you haven't seen the end." So I'm assuming maybe Callum steps in heroically and Leo's...
No, Callum does say, Callum actually says that she wakes up and then smacks the guy who is encouraging everyone in the face. But that doesn't make it any better.
That's what
really.
he says, yeah.
It doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And what indeed? But it really doesn't. This has really put Callum into you cannot use the fact that you're hiding your sexuality as an excuse in this situation. And yes, okay, when you're in a mob mentality, perhaps you do stuff that you wouldn't necessarily do if you were on your own. I mean, if Callum was walking down the street and saw a woman passed out on the street, I doubt very much he would think to himself, "Oh, they got knickers off." You know, it was a mob mentality. But at the same time, like, that was really incriminating against Callum. And if there is a case, which I don't think there was, I think it was a lie to get the video shown. But if there is a case, then that's another story we're going to, be heading down soon. That Callum's going to have this court case against him for sexual harassment.
Well, he went to see Leo later in the week at E20, and he said, "How did you find that video? It's like a friend of someone who I'm not friends with."
Well, yeah, it's
like
a guy I
in
unfriended.
A folder somewhere in an album.
Well, it was a guy he unfriended, so he would have had to find the guy who's unfriended's friends, and then gone through a friend of a friend of a friend. And so he would really have had to deep dive into Callum's social media to find it. So a lot of effort would have had to be made to do it. And so he's kind of accusing him of deliberately using it against him for Whitney. And he says, "I'm not doing it for my concern. I don't care what people think about me, but I'm concerned of what you're planning with Whitney." And quite cocky, Leo just kind of said, "Well, you keep worrying, but
prove it."
Yeah, prove it. She doesn't give a hoot about you anymore.
It's interesting as well. Last week when Leo was getting Whitney drunk in E20 and Callum was watching on, there was a line where Callum said, "Oh, I'm not going to let this happen to a girl again." And obviously that links to that video, I guess.
Okay.
Which is a bit like, oh, come on, a week apart. Of course you're going to say that. For like writing purposes, it's a bit stupid.
I didn't think that's stupid. It just gives you a bit... I like it when the writers give you a little clue of what they're planning.
So, yeah, there's got that to think about. So maybe he does feel guilty about what happened, but being that closeted man, he just couldn't feel the strength to speak out against his straight peers.
We need to quickly talk about Ben and Callum as well, because their relationship's getting stronger and stronger.
They keep kissing all the time.
They're kissing all the time.
Touching
Exactly.
hands, touching thighs.
They've become quite the couple in quite a short amount of time, haven't they?
They're like an old couple.
They really are. They're like the Les and Pam, some might say. There's something about that flat, isn't there, that causes people to revert
settle.
Kind of settle.
Yeah, it's very full on. It's a bit of a shame that they maybe didn't sit down and show us a scene of him talking to Lexi about being in a relationship with Callum, I thought. Because like they opened the week where Callum just came downstairs and just kissed her in front of him. But it would have been nice for us to maybe see them sit and explain it to her. Just for like the audience.
I don't know. I think she's young, and a lot of young people don't really see right.
Yeah, but but they should show us that though.
You think they need to explain it to Lexi?
No,
I don't think they
just say, "Oh, Lexi, your mum lives here, Callum lives here, I live here. Your nan who was dead." Like, just explain. Just explain a few things.
That'll be the biggest shock from Lexi. My nan's dead.
But I think it would just be nice for not for Lexi personally as a character. I'm sure Lexi's fine, but just for the audience watching, like a gay couple with someone who already has a child, just say, "Oh, this is Dad's."
Yeah,
boyfriend.
But I think if someone watching EastEnders needs to have their little mind comforted because a gay couple have a child, then that's their problem, not Lexi's.
Yeah, well, we just went through like Pride Week and that whole big thing with Callum's dad. I think it would just be nice. They need to focus a bit more on the actual relationship of Ballum. I feel like it's going like 1,000 miles an hour.
That's exactly it. That's what I mean. It's like this relationship. It would be more interesting and more intriguing if you could see this young gay relationship start to blossom. It's because that's
instead of Ben and Martin, personally.
Exactly, Ben and Martin, which we will talk about after the game, I believe.
Well, should we do that then, so we can talk about that, because it's just
stewing.
Need to talk about it. So yeah, we'll go to a game and then we'll come back to round up some more. Are you ready for another edition of Slater Family Values?
Born ready.
This is the game, which is 6 degrees of separation. Everyone on the square is related in one way or another, and you have to link 2 characters that I tell you together in 6 steps. Got it?
I've got it. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, I've got it. I'm writing down so I'm ready and prepared.
And you've got 60 seconds to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a past character and a current character this week, just to mix it up a bit.
Great.
There's no bonus points this week.
Oh, well, so you're not going to... If I throw one in the middle?
No, because I forgot to do it.
Okay. That's non-surprising.
So I want you to link... It's hard enough as it is, you see. Diane Butcher. Do you remember her?
I remember her very well. I'm watching her now on Classic quite often.
I want you to link Diane Butcher to Tina Carter, please, in 6 steps.
God.
It's surprisingly easier than you think.
They're not in the same era, though.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, so are you ready to link these girls?
These ladies. Yes, I am.
Okay, so you've got 60 seconds starting from now.
Okay, so Diane Butcher is the daughter of Frank Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Frank Butcher once married Peggy Mitchell.
Yes.
Peggy Mitchell is the mother of Phil Mitchell.
Yes.
Phil Mitchell once married. Oh no. Yeah, no. Phil Mitchell
30 seconds.
Phil Mitchell has a rivalry,
Right.
a long-term rivalry with Ian Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Bill is the son of the poor Kathy Bill, and Kathy Bill employs Tina Carter first of all at her cafe, and then completely regretted it and did it at the Albert. So that leads to Tina Carter.
Oh, well done. How exciting. Veered off to... Mine was quite similar to begin with, but you veered off halfway through. Different directions.
There's lots of directions. Everyone knows everyone else in EastEnders.
Well, I got Diane Butcher is Frank's daughter, obviously.
Mm.
Frank married to Pat, because Pat's related to everyone.
Mm.
Pat and Peggy were best friends.
Yeah.
Peggy's son is Phil. Phil sold the Vic to Mick, and Mick's sister is Tina.
I see. I thought you could have used Phil was married to Kathy and then done it that way again, because they were married.
Or with Shirley. Phil and Shirley. They were together.
Oh yeah, and Shirley. Yeah, and Shirley and Tina.
See, even Diane Butcher from 1990 can be linked to Tina Carter.
Well, even before that, wasn't it? She was introduced in 1989. Before that, in fact, 1988.
Yeah.
It's the long, rich history that is Walford.
Just throw Pat in there, you can link it to anyone.
I was going to say, yeah, if you put Pat Butcher in there.
That foul tart. Well, there you go. You did it. You did your 6 steps for Slater family values. So I had you fooled there. You think we're talking about Ballum now? Well, we're not. We're talking about Kathy and Stuart.
Oh, you got me every time.
Which is still something I can talk about with some venom and hate.
Well, oh, no, you missed a trick there. Something you can talk about with relish, because he was a hot dog.
Yes, he was a hot dog.
That was a great joke.
No time for jokes because of the storylines.
No time for fun. We have to talk about EastEnders.
Wow, let's just get going on this storyline, because Kathy is giving Stuart job after job after job, an opportunity for not... I don't really get why she's doing this.
Because she wants Stuart to have a secure place for when Rainey comes home. It's not stupid. It's kind.
They're turning him into Minty / Gary Hobbs.
That's true, but they also desperately needed to give Kathy some kind of 180 for having basically done something very, very bad last week. That's giving a drug addict drugs.
Well, yes. But also, Kathy still did something bad because she got him a job at the Albert. Where is how common knowledge is it that Stuart beat up Ben on Pride Week?
I don't think it is that common knowledge. I think it's just a secret between Callum and Ben and him.
Okay. Who works at the Albert? Tina. Imagine her turning up from
Gosh,
Italy
yeah, I forgot
with
about
Stuart
that.
behind the bar with her.
But maybe that's a
Kathy.
sign. Maybe that is a sign that Tina's out. Because don't forget, she didn't tell her that there was drug smuggling. Did you notice those little posters around the...
Yes, couldn't help but notice.
They were everywhere. I mean, is this Kathy's defence against this drug pushing in her club? Just put posters up. They'll stop eventually.
Yeah, it was like the comedic storyline throughout the week, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he's just doing a job, not very good at it, moves on to the next business, went to Walford East again. Ian did the same thing he did to Rainey, basically, and wouldn't pay him or made him do extra hours or do jobs no one else wanted to do. But what is there to say, really? Where is this going? Where's it developing?
I mean, I quite liked Stuart working in the cafe. I thought that was a good place for him.
Yeah, it was funny, but...
The only thing that annoyed me was that Stuart always seems to be a character that tries very hard to please. And when he was in the cafe, he seemed quite settled there and happy to do it. But every other place he went to, so the club and Walford East...
Doesn't like gays looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm dressed like a gay. It's like, for God's sake.
No, I know, but then that's his character, isn't it? I don't think he means to be offensive. He's just... He doesn't mean to be offensive.
He doesn't like gay people, does he?
Well, Well, he does, because he loves his brother, Callum.
Yeah, when Callum said he was cooking a meal for Ben, he was a bit like...
Yeah, but that was only because Stuart was upset because he thought he was cooking... No, because he thought he was cooking a meal for him. He thought it was going to be a night in with him and Callum. He was like, oh, nice. And then when he said, well, no, it's for Ben. I don't think it's because they were gay. I just think it's because Stuart thought that he was having a meal cooked by his brother. Because he's got his brother back as well. So you have to admit he's very happy about that. Callum's finally let him back in again.
But he's not got a job.
When he hasn't got a job, yes, but...
He quit Walford East.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to end there? It's clearly...
What's next? Fish and chip shop then? This is his last chance.
No, I think Kathy will probably find a job that picked out of thin air. She'll probably find
I could see him in the fish and chip shop, actually. That would suit...
What, his little white hat?
Yeah, that would suit Stuart. Don't really see that set much anymore.
You do. They used it very recently.
You're not the inside or people working behind.
That's true.
So that's his last hope of the Bill Empire, isn't it?
You don't realise how much the Bills have. Although Kathy's is her own, I suppose. I suppose
But together. Especially with Ben Mitchell in the mix.
Yeah. Lots of things and lots of different pies.
Lou Bill would be so pleased.
Well, I don't think she would. Not with Ian. Snivelling little wreck, isn't he?
That's true.
She'd be pleased. She liked Kathy though, didn't she?
Arthur would be pleased then, even though it's got nothing to do with it.
Arthur wouldn't give him monkeys because it's not his family.
Okay, Pete Bill, would be pleased.
Pete Bill would be pleased, yeah, because it's all about money, isn't it?
Mm.
It's so funny seeing Ian Bill in like the old days when he was quite liberal and quite, and you've seen the change from 1985 because if you're watching the classic episodes from 1985 to 1991 we're at now. You can see now the Ian Bill we know now, but you couldn't see it in like the first 3 years of the soap.
Yeah, a lot of damage has been done to Ian, like from the I Killed Lucy, from the Who Killed Lucy storyline. Like he had some real good development and he changed as a character and it was quite interesting to watch. And then 2017 where they ruined him when he did that weird like I'm gonna run for government for like a month.
Oh god, yeah, and they've just forgotten because of the stabbing story.
Yeah, that's coming back by the way.
What, the running for government?
Yes.
Do you reckon he's gonna have those posters made again?
No.
It was an acronym, wasn't it?
But like ever since
Bill.
2017, they've just ruined. They put his character backwards with Masood, and since then he's just been a bit of like a caricature.
Well, I hated the Bill and Masood story in the first time when it was happening. We moaned about it every week on the podcast.
Did you see guy who plays Masood was interviewed saying he'd like Masood to come back soon?
No.
That's what I thought. I was like, really?
Don't need him.
You came back once. Look what happened.
He left twice and then came back a third time during York's era just because he
hung around.
But I think it was just a kind of like a plastering the gap, just to kind of fill up the
like that is not needed. Thanks.
Yeah, the cast.
Love you, Masood, but no.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but there was nothing more for him, and that's why he had to go again. He came back. Oh no.
All right, so let's get on to the real crux of the week.
I'm dreading this.
Ben and Martin storyline. Going?
Can I just quickly put my opinion now about it, and then you can have yours because I know yours is going to be probably a lot more negative. I'm just going to say
positive.
I don't mind the Ben and Martin storyline. I genuinely don't. I notice its flaws, and I wish that they would do more between Ben and Callum rather than focus so much on Ben and Martin. But for the situation in which they need to fill out a plot of some sort just to keep Lacey off the soap for another 6 months, I don't mind it. It's fine, and I find it quite gripping at times.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking back to when we thought, oh god, Martin and Ruby are going to have an affair, and that's why Stacey leaves. We were dreading that, and I was thinking, actually,
always
sounds
forgiven.
Like a good idea now.
Yeah, please do that instead.
Yeah, but this feud. I mean, feuds between two male characters anyway are just boring always on EastEnders because they're just rubbish.
But they're always so violent, aren't they?
I want Sharon and Mel back.
Yeah, you want the kind of the backstabbing and the blackmail, yeah. And
the lies. But the only good thing about this storyline is the two actors.
Oh, top
They're
class.
doing the best they can with this material. But I mean, when we had Martin hanging upside down at the end of this week, I was like, for God's sake. This whole thing with Ben and a bridge, like back from years ago, the only reason, when it was brought up, I was like, oh, clever continuity. Now I know why it was brought up, because it was this stupid plot device.
Well, they keep referring to it. They referred it about 3 times this week. It kept getting referred to.
When he was played by Harry Reid, they didn't seem to hate each other.
Yeah, but Harry Reid didn't have anything on Martin.
Well, does Ben really have anything on Martin?
But he does. But see, this is the weird thing. Ben is angry at Martin for trying to kill his dad.
Yeah, but Ben told them to leave him to dead and watched him nearly die.
But that's the funny thing, isn't it?
And also, Phil was strangling Martin, about to kill Martin. So it's just stupid. And the fact that he's like saying that means Stacey can't come back. It's like, why? Why does Ben want Stacey not there?
Yeah, that's the weird
Mother
thing,
of
isn't
Walford,
it? Yeah,
wearer of red coats, seller of fruit,
bearer of children.
What's wrong with our Stacey?
I know there's something. I think I don't know, because it was Stacey that did the ultimate blow to Phil's head, and as you said, I don't think Ben cared at the time of the assault about Stacey had done it, but because now Phil has forgiven him and he's back in the family, I think he feels it's his duty to now have this vendetta against the Slaters, as in Stacey and Martin.
That's fine, but it could be written better. Like when Martin dobbed him into Jack and they decided to like catfish Ben and get him caught.
Catfish.
Well, they did entrapped him then, whatever.
Yeah.
And he just came out of prison and said, "Oh yeah, I used my get out of jail free card." Like it wasn't explained at all. Like, what does that mean exactly? What, has Ben got contacts in the police? Or if he does, how?
Oh, they have just the Mitchell solicitors. I mean, but how many times has Ben been arrested since he's come back?
Since he's come, what, as Max Bowden?
Yeah.
Not been arrested, has he?
Has he not?
They nearly arrested him for the Phil thing, didn't they? I think.
Oh yeah, they questioned him for that.
They kept arresting everyone that week. Yeah. But it's a bit lazy, and it's not really plot. Like we had Ben get shot. Sonia saved his life. Like the Mitchells owe Sonia, and we have this Martin and Sonia dynamic. So why is Sonia not stepping up and like going to Phil and being like, sort your son out?
Sonia had offered.
Saved his life.
Sonia had offered to do it, but then Martin didn't tell her.
That's not going to stop Sonia. She would go there anyway and do it.
But this is the thing. Martin's now, after this a new assault, he's got more cuts on him. He was rubbing blood on his daughter's face. Like is Sonia not going to notice that he's now got more damage done to his face? I mean, yeah. How long is it going to be till Sonia spots that there is something going on that's perhaps more trouble than he's letting on? Why is she just letting him carry the burden of weight on his shoulders when she keeps insisting that, you're my friend and, we've known each other? She said this week, you're you're my oldest friend on the square.
Oldest living friend, I had to correct her.
Oh, yes.
They're all dying around her. But I hope they're not doing like a Sonia and Martin thing.
No, I don't think they are. Because
friendship.
It was joked about by Dottie this week as well, wasn't it? When she said, don't say you started falling in love with her when the cat's away. And I think the fact that they kind of brought it up is going to be, no, it's not going to happen. But it just does feel a bit strange to me that he's quick to ask Jack for help. But the one person who has openly said, I could probably help you out here if you let me, he's not accepting it. And
I guess maybe Ben keeps threatening everyone. Maybe he thinks he'll kill Sonia or something. But like that's another weird thing with Ben, how he keeps threatening like Martin's children. Like, I'll put them on the bridge.
Yeah, it was really weird. He said, didn't he? He said about all the kids he's had with Stacey, and he said, I'll make you watch it too. I mean, that's a nasty side to portray.
And also how Ben was like, oh, you're not very tough now. It's like, Ben, you didn't do anything. You just stood on the other side of the train, like watching.
That's true. Watch the mob
you need to do it, Ben, if you're going to try and be scary.
But it's funny how he's got this kind of, he's got this power already over this group of people.
Where did they come from?
Exactly. Where did he hire this mob from? It's weird.
He was scared off by Mel Owen in a purple hat last year onto a ferry.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's got a mob.
Yeah, it's really strange,
it's so
isn't
over the top and
really gangster, but kind of almost cartoonish.
Yeah. But again, it's like running like so quickly at the moment, EastEnders. It's like one story, another story, another story. It's like just calm down and give us some actual real plot. There's one more thing that I was annoyed about is how at the end of this bridge thing, he then went back to Callum and they had this like, oh, I love you, kiss, kiss. And it's like, oh, that'll make the viewers accept him. They keep doing that. They keep having Ben at the beginning of the week where he was dancing with Lexi. And I put on Twitter, oh, we've got this in our heart screen. So that means he's going to do something that we can never forgive now.
Yeah.
But you will forgive him because he's a little family man. They keep doing that. It's really cheap.
Did you notice, though, he also did, every time he spoke to Martin at the beginning of the week and kind of organised Martin to do these jobs for him, he was doing it in front of his daughter. And it reminded me of like a mafia movie scene. Like his daughter, who's almost naive to it and not really understanding, and kind of comparing it to the game that she's playing in front of her, Monopoly. He's like, "Oh, are you talking about buying houses on Monopoly?" Well, that kind of. And it's just weird, wasn't it?
Like
that
tell a story or something.
Yeah, and he's talking quite dark and morbid things to to Martin about his instructions of what he has to do to, get the money in front of his young daughter. So is this the start of that? Her daughter Lexi is going to be as evil and as bad as Ben?
The thing is, I don't think it is. I think they're literally using that as a, you can still love Ben because he's got a daughter.
Yeah, but he's doing
Callum.
Yeah, but
I don't think there's anything deeper at the moment. That's the bad thing about it. I don't think it is deeper.
But he's doing these dark things in front of his daughter, though. So yes, he's doing these silly things. He's dancing to black magic, and he's having daddy-daughter days, and as you said, has fallen in love with Callum. His one true love since Paul. He's opened up his heart again to this guy. But as you say, it's not redeeming enough. It's not. You can't encompass him in this happy rabbit floppy land.
It's not enough.
And then have this horrible thing. He's torturing this guy. You just can't do that. You can't.
And he's torturing Martin really like unnecessary. I know they brought up this thing that happened like 1,000 years ago, but in EastEnders you could bring up anything with any character.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's got a past.
Sonia could bring up dunking Sharon in that water.
Yeah.
And like drown her in a thing or something.
Yeah, Dottie tried to kill her own grandmother.
Yeah.
But her, she's brought her back from Ireland. It's all good.
But it's not enough. It needs more actual reason behind these things. They seem a bit like special effects, but then it doesn't really have much meaning to it.
I'm scratching my head to think, is there some past between Ben and Stacey? And is this the reason why he doesn't want Stacey back? Is he suddenly going to reveal something that everyone's forgotten?
A scene from like 2004.
That's right, yeah.
Probably.
Like when Stacey, I don't know, smacked him in the face because he listened to Lady Gaga in front of her or something. Is there a scene that we're all forgetting between him and Stacey, and that it's just we're all going to suddenly be like, oh my God, I forgot about that. And
yeah, but the thing is, with the writing this week, if there was, they would have like referenced the scene like 2 episodes ago and then mentioned it 2 episodes later. That's what they tend to do at the moment.
I do agree with you though that I think they need to kind of get their ducks in a row and basically sort out exactly what they want to do, because we are getting closer and closer to this, big milestone, the 35th anniversary, and everyone's really excited, thinking, oh, there's going to be a big story, but there doesn't seem to be anything.
No, there's not one big
coming to it.
Long-running story running through, is there?
And then running out of time now.
And momentum, actually. Ever since the Hunter shooting episode, the momentum's been a bit like, for me anyway, it's been a bit over the place. And like Christmas is quite soon. I don't know what Christmas is building up to.
Well, yeah, that's true too. There's nothing leading to a big Christmas story. Again,
I mean Tish back.
Yes. Just bring back Sharon. Where is Sharon and Phil, eh?
I know.
Where are you up to? But this is the thing. Why is no one reporting any of this to Phil either? Like,
yeah, Sonia.
Yeah.
So yeah, very silly. And like these things with Callum, they're not washing with me, I'm afraid. They're very nice, but I want to see more of like an actual relationship between them, not just him doing something evil and then going home and having like erotic sex because he's all hyper on hurting someone.
You're going to mock up another porno scene, are you?
Maybe that's the running thing. He seems to get off on violence, doesn't he?
Well, this is it. We know this anyway. We've seen him numerous scenes when he's getting beaten and he's just
loving it.
Yeah,
got handcuffed, loved it.
Yeah, remember when he hired someone to hit hitman for Billy?
Kill Billy. His family.
Yeah.
That's been forgotten.
It just leapfrogs from one to the next with Ben. It's like they obviously brought Ben in to be this dark kind of gangland character. The only thing I can think of is the ultimate end to this is that Ben is going to be killed. Ben's going to be killed off at some point.
I don't want them to kill Ben. He's too much of an important character. But
he's a proper legacy Mitchell. He can't be.
Yeah, they need to chill him a bit. He's been Hayley Slatered this year.
Put him on ice. Put him on ice and let him have a few
one
moments.
more question I want before we move on is about the future of Ben and Callum. If Callum knows this side of Ben, if he knows about it, doesn't know about it, will he know about it? Is that going to be an issue for them going forward? Because Callum's quite soppy and quite on the level.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Callum spoke to Ben about that video, and Ben seemed quite blasé about it. When he mentioned it around Ben. And so, I think he knows that Ben kind of has this much more less shock. He's less shocked by things than what Callum is. Like, things don't scare him quite so easily. He showed that today, this week also with the funeral parlour when we talk about Jay later, when he tried to help Jay out and he spoke to the
gangster woman.
The gangster woman, he said, "Oh, you're mistaking me for someone who scares easy." And she actually audibly went back. Anyway, we'll talk about it a bit later. Yeah. But I do think, I don't think this is.
Do you think it'll be an issue for him?
No, I think it will be an issue.
It will be,
and I think But I don't think Ben will change for Callum. I think Ben has this... It's interesting that he spoke to that mob woman, really, because Ben is a bit like the mob guy who Jay has to bury this...
yeah, he thinks he is anyway.
Well, he does. And the wife is a bit like... isn't like Callum, because Callum wouldn't be part of it. If Callum knew what Ben was doing right now, he wouldn't just kind of say, "Oh, well, that's my husband. Yeah, as long as he's making me money, I'm happy."
If I was Martin... I'd get Aidan Joseph Maguire's sister on the case. Because didn't Ben steal the necklace from her?
Well, the one that Kathy bought the Albert with?
Yeah, I'd get her and say, Ben's back in the country, love. Clara, is that name Clara? I'd be like, sort him out.
Clara.
Little tip for you, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I'd do if I was
I don't think he left a forwarding address, though.
No,
although he could ask Kathy. He could ask his Aunt Kathy, Aunt Kath.
Or Mel. Mel will know.
Well, yeah, one of them must have the details of him or her. Yeah, Mel. Well, that's interesting. Why weren't either of those at Hunter's funeral?
Why weren't they at Mel's wedding?
So
let's talk about that. Right, we're going to do on to the really short storyline of the Slaters. It's not really much more about this house, but the Slater house is kind of falling apart. Kush is low on money, and he offers a spa weekend to make Jean and Kat feel better, and then the stock he bought wasn't very good, so then he loses money. So he keeps talking about money past 2 weeks. We know there's a new loan shark on the square.
Yes.
So I'm guessing they're going to link up with Martin and they're going to
go against because Kush has already confronted Ben, so he knows about Ben being a loan shark.
When he gets desperate, though.
Yeah, but do you think he would? Do you think he would, knowing the way that Ben is?
No, I hope not. But
yeah, the way he's being to Martin, would he really take the risk of loaning money from him? We talked about this last week. We said would Martin is the ultimate
That's what
thing
I thought,
Martin's going to end up.
Yeah, he knows about it. But there's a lot of talk about money, and Big Mo offers to help.
Well, Big Mo wants to buy his stock off him.
What is ripped stock?
Yeah, to do what with, we don't know, but she wants to buy it because she's got the gift of the gab, hasn't she? So presumably he sold it at a loss. But he's already promised Jean and Kat that he's going to give them a weekend away, a spa weekend.
Yeah, because she's a bit upset by Daniel and she keeps replaying the messages and things for him.
Well, so this is it, isn't it? Daniel left a video to Jean, basically telling Jean to be brave.
Or was this the week when she went around and told everyone?
Yep, be brave, be bold, be Jean.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what she did. So she went from place to place to place. Yeah, and basically, there's being brave and being bold, but
being rude.
There's being rude as well. She was telling Whitney that she has to stay away from having any other boyfriends.
Yeah, good advice. So what she said to Keanu was a bit weird. He's bold.
Yeah, you'll be bald one day, so why don't you grow your hair? Fair enough. Louise, you'll never get your figure back once you've given birth to your baby.
Good. Stupid Louise this week.
Louise remarkably didn't make it about herself after that either. Mm-hmm. She said more about she did because she then thought about going away with Lisa. She did kind of make it about herself actually because she then went to Lisa and started speaking to her about maybe we should go away with Portugal.
It made her think not just about herself.
No. Yeah, about the family. Maybe she'd be better off in a nice warm climate.
Yeah, and that was interesting because she was talking to Keanu about how she saw Mel as more of a mother figure, and Lisa was kind of listening and a bit taken back by it. That's obviously bubbling to something. Because I keep forgetting about Lisa. She's kind of just there.
She gets thrown in there and then. But she basically told Louise and Keanu over a meal that they are planning to eventually leave again to go to Portugal, her and Mel, and they want to take them with her. And at first Louise was like, no, my family's here. But then she's changed her mind. So, Jean's advice helped her out a little bit there then. That was okay. That was quite useful.
That's true.
But then she did tell Ian that he was lousy in bed.
Yeah, well, this is another weird thing. They completely ignored the fact that Jean and Ian were a couple at Christmas. Remember that weird storyline where they were together? They didn't even reference even knowing each other. It was really odd.
No, it was very strange. The way
they talked to each other was like they just passing each other on the street.
Well, Ian and Jean don't show any interaction at all.
And he said something like, "Oh, off your med." He wouldn't say that.
No.
They made quite a deep connection where they were talking about Lucy's death and stuff. And then he just said something like that. It's really
over a bowl of vegetables, remember? Because he was preparing the vegetables a week before Christmas itself.
So I thought that was a bit You remember Martin hanging Ben on a bridge 20 years ago? Don't remember that from last year.
It's strange. But it's strange that it's almost like they've deliberately tried to keep Jean and Ian as a separate entity. Okay, let's just forget that had happened. But yeah, because Jean and Ian showed, as you said, quite a connection because they both showed signs of they've been down. Ian had obviously run away that time and went missing, and Jean did something similar, and maybe Ian, they have something that they could connect with. But again, Ian's lost his character a bit. He's shown a bit of
Yeah,
arrogance.
he was just arrogant, rude for like no reason. It was really lazy of him. Like, of them, that's not how Ian should be written anymore. It's like he's progressed like 20 years. But like, was it Ian's comment that made Jean sort of go inside herself again? Someone said something quite mean to her.
I think it was
Ian, wasn't
Ian's, and then I think a few people said, you really what you're doing is a bit over the top now. I think you're being silly, and it upset her. And
she's like a girl on lots of sugar.
And she was a bit.
Like, go take a seat in the corner, Jean.
I mean, she told Tracy that the pie had not much filling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what did she think Tracy was going to do?
Poor Trace.
Talking about food, we forgot to mention something about Callum and Ben. Callum was going to make a meal for Ben, and he had no recipe other than the recipe that Whitney had made him, which was chicken pasta.
And he said it to Whitney. I'm making your recipe.
Yeah, chicken pasta. I mean, what's Whitney going to react to that? But also, isn't Callum a chef? So
he is a chef.
So,
So that was really weird of Callum to say that. It's a bit like in your face, Whitney. But I've shown the video too if I was Leo.
You make your own chicken pasta next
week. He's been hanging around Ben too much.
He has.
It's rubbing off on him in all the wrong ways.
Well, Ben's rubbing off on him, yeah. But then that's what young couples do.
I wouldn't know. Right, so let's go on to our second game of the week. That's right. Doubling the content. And then we'll be back to round up the rest of the week.
He's at it again, Ben. Mick Carter is having a bubble.
Oh, yes.
He's got some statements that could be true and could be false, and you need to tell me if they're Babe Ruth, the truth,
oh, God,
or Porky Pie's lies. Now, Ben, I'm going to read statements about Kathy's calf, and you need to tell me if it's Babe Ruth or Porky Pie. It's not for bees and honey, so don't be a basin of gravy. If your answer is cut and scratches, just take a lump of ice, roll the rats and mice, and have a meat pie. So are you ready, Ben?
So what did you call me?
So just basically go over the rules. I'm going to read a statement. This week we're talking about facts, or are they facts, about Kathy's calf. And then Ben has to tell me if they're the truth or if they're a lie.
Lovely.
And Ben has to use Cockney rhyming slang because only Mick Carter understands Cockney rhyming slang, which is Babe Ruth for truth and Porky Pie for a lie. Good.
I find it hard to remember them.
Yeah, well,
but it's fine.
Let's give it a go. So, statement number 1. Kathy's has a food hygiene rating of 5, which is very good.
Porky Pie.
No.
There's mud on the walls.
It's Babe Ruth.
I forgot to say.
It's the truth. He's got 5 rating. Top you can get.
That's suspicious. Printed from the internet, probably.
Probably. Well, I don't know if Ian would know how to do that, to be fair. And Kathy's got no idea about the world. Laura Beale was once the manager of the cafe when Ian owned the cafe. Is that true or false?
Porky Pie, because she was in the chip shop.
Yeah, it is false. But it was actually because she was the manager when Phil owned the cafe.
Oh, what? Laura Beale? How weird.
Laura Beale when Phil had ownership after Ian went bankrupt. Which leads nicely to statement number 3. Ian went bankrupt from a bad stock investment. True or false?
Porky Pie.
It is false. But again, he did go bankrupt. He got caught with a dodgy tax return and avoidance. And so he owed a lot of money and had to lose.
Doing that since the 90s as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he likes to waggle his money. Yeah, exactly. He's saying that people are self-employed, so he doesn't have to pay them a full wage. Naughty Ian Bill. Statement number 4. Nick Cotton took a number of Walford residents hostage in the cafe after a failed attempt to poison his mother. Is that true or false?
Oh, that's really tricky. Babe Ruth.
It's true, Ben. You need some easy ones to mix in with the more difficult ones.
That's really easy. Plus, I just did a whole thing about Nick Cotton's whole life, so... Gutted for you. Yeah, but
will anyone ever see the light of day of that statement?
Ask YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube won't let you.
BBC won't let me, actually.
Well, okay. That's because we're officially unofficial. We don't have
Terribly
permission.
Unofficial.
Terribly. Statement number 5. Other than Ali Osman, Jane Bill and Kathy, the cafe was also once owned by Heather Trott as a present from Phil Mitchell. Is that true or false?
It sounds ridiculous, so it could be true. Oh, I hate Heather Trott. Babe Ruth, because it sounds like something stupid that he'd do to make Shirley happy or something.
What makes you hate Heather Trott?
That's just annoying.
Dear.
She's a nobody character, isn't she?
I think if you'd thought about it a bit more when you said make Shirley happy, you would have known it was false. Because although Phil had the cafe for a second time after a divorce between Jane and Ian, he gifted it to Shirley.
Oh.
And she named it Shirley's.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Says you won't be saying the last one was so easy, doesn't it? Statement number 6. Closer magazine claimed that the Bridge Street Cafe was to become a vegan restaurant. True or false?
Closer magazine could claim anything. Babe Ruth, true.
Yes, they did. And at the time of publishing, fans threatened to boycott the programme. So there you go.
Maybe Dottie will open one.
It was only last year they said that as well.
Mm.
So 2018, Closer magazine claimed that. Right, final statement. You're doing all right. You've got 4. So if you get this one right, you got 5. And that's commendable.
Good. Good effort.
Statement 7. Other than a member of the Bill family, the longest running employee of the cafe was Tina Carter, having worked there for 5 years. Is that true or false?
True.
Other than a member of the Bill family.
No, wait.
The longest running employee of the cafe was Tina Carter, having worked there for 5 years.
No, false, because of Marie. Does Marie count? I don't know.
Yep, it's false. Marie Evans started working as a cashier and waitress from 2003, meaning she's worked there for 16 years.
Little sneaky extras.
Hey, you're right. Quite a few good questions, a few tricky ones. 5 out of 7 on your varying scale, because it changes every week, of characters' score system. What does
clever as?
Yeah, of how clever you are. What's a 5 out of 7?
Kirsty Cotton.
Oh.
Yeah, throw her in.
I'm sorry?
I'll throw her in.
Oh, okay. Your teeth loose again this week.
I got a dry mouth.
I know a few people on Twitter who have some comments about that this week. If you have any games that you'd like us to play, do get in touch with us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and our email, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And that was another edition of Mick Carter's Having a Bubble. So before we carry on talking about the last 2 stories of the week, we have our question for people to get in touch with us on with their answer, where they could win a piece of EastEnders Weekly merch from our merch store. All we have to do is answer the question and reply to us on our Twitter, our Instagram, or our email address, and you will get 1 free entry on each, and we will be drawing the winner and revealed on the Christmas episode of EastEnders Weekly. So you've got lots of entries you can go, so we're going to do one of these every week. We've done 2 already. I don't know if anyone's heard them. Some people have. Maybe you haven't. So go back and see if you can hear them. But this week's question is, where was Martin dangled from by Ben as form of...
That's the question, is it?
Yeah. Where was Martin dangled from by Ben?
Tricky one this
week.
week.
And Tubbs.
Oh, yeah. You dangle me from somewhere any day.
You dangle something over Ben. Was it A, the bridge above Bridge Street? Was it B, E20 roof? Or was it
seen E20's roof before.
You've seen the Vic roof a few times. Or was it C, Dot's washing line? So if you think you know the answer, either send us a tweet at EastEndersWeek or Instagram at EastEndersWeekly Podcast, or email eastendersweekly@gmail.com with the answer A, B or C. And the question once more was, where was Martin dangled from by Ben and Tubbs? Was it A, the bridge, B, E20 roof, or C, Dot Cotton's washing line?
Just so everyone knows, if they want to find me, I'll be dangling from Ben and Tubbs' bedroom ceiling. So on to our discussion of Jay, because he's got a storyline. Once a year, this happens.
Yeah.
And this is his time to shine.
It's his time. Let him shine.
Again, more very old references this week, because someone has died. They want a very big, elaborate funeral. And other funeral parlours aren't accepting it, so they're now gone to Coker & Sons. And it's like this big hoo-ha.
Oh, I thought Coker & Sons was their first choice.
No, didn't the woman say, like, oh, the other ones have said no? So you have to do it.
So is Coker's like that desperate for business that they have to go for this gangland funeral?
Well, no one's dying anymore on the square, are they? So
yeah, but
everyone who dies wants a discount.
They're not a captive market, though. They're not the only, like, they don't only do a catchment area of Albert Square.
Don't they?
Well, they shouldn't. No wonder they're going under.
But yeah, it turns out it was Terry Bates, who not many people will know, maybe. Quite a long time ago. And it's funny when they do storylines like this, because you have to like really set your mind like 15 years back to kind of remember all the ins and outs of the storyline. But basically he was like a gang leader, and he arranged Jay's dad to be killed, and he was stabbed in a flat with all these guys around him, and Billy and Jay were there. But Billy got like scared and locked them in a bathroom while it happened.
Oh yes, because you watched this recently, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, ish.
Oh, okay.
A few months ago. I was skipping past it. But like, it's hard, like, if you didn't watch that recently, it's hard to like cast your mind all the way back to this random storyline.
Which makes it a bit difficult to show any kind of feeling toward Jay, because if it's not a storyline you recognise or relate to, you can't really show any sympathy toward Jay.
I must admit I was finding myself tuning out. Even though I love Jay. He's good. He's got lots of... And the actor's amazing.
Oh, the actor is fantastic.
So I feel bad saying it. And Billy, when he's given good material, he's decent enough.
Yeah.
But I just feel disconnected, I guess, with this. It's some guy's funeral. And Jay's plan seems a bit stupid.
This is what I felt disconnected by. The fact that Jay's plan didn't really show any kind of weight behind it. He's thinking, oh, I'm going to tell everyone what I know about him. And it's well, probably everyone knows. Yeah,
it's surely the gang are going to be there. It's they're not going to be surprised, are they?
What? What? He was that? Really? All that beating I was doing is nothing compared to killing.
He died in prison. So it doesn't really make sense. Jay's saying, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what he was like. It's well, have you met his wife?
I know, she was a right bitch, wasn't she?
I know.
Yeah.
Cow.
She was a cow. She's a character I wouldn't mind seeing back again. I really love gangster mobs' wives.
They are better, aren't they? Sorry, when I saw her sat there, I thought, oh yeah, a bit interested now. And they used the same actress as well. She was only in a handful of episodes years and years and years ago. So that's quite good that they got the same woman back.
But she didn't recognise Jay, and I think Jay found that was a bigger insult.
I thought she did though when she saw him, because she kind of looked back a bit I kind of recognise you.
She was kind of register him. And so do you think that she was deliberately showing that?
I think so. She's a mob boss woman.
So wife. She wasn't showing any she wasn't showing any emotion toward him.
She knows what she was doing.
Yeah, poker face to him.
But yeah, I mean, his plan just seems a bit really? So what's this gonna... Again, this leads me to the question of, it's great having this history and bringing stuff up, but what does it lead us to? Is it going to lead us to anything, or is it just going to be, that's it? Or is Jay going to get himself in trouble? Is the gang going to go after him? I don't get it.
I think it's just going to be a very quick, done story. Again, as you say, it's the lightning speed stories at the moment. Something that's cropped to mind.
Maybe they can kill Lola.
Perhaps.
His girlfriend.
Why not? She'll be in a nice leopard skin
she's cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly. Just get rid of her. Ben showed a lot of sympathy toward Jay in this story. But then what's Ben doing to Martin? All roads lead to Martin. Why?
Doesn't really make sense.
No, exactly. So how can he show any sympathy when he's doing almost an identical thing
Jay's
to someone
family?
Else? That doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. He can't.
Well, that's why it's stupid when Ben says, "I've got my date with my daughter. You can't interrupt me, Martin." And then he goes, "I'm going to throw Hope off a bridge."
Yeah.
Something I've got to say.
So are these empty threats by Ben, or is this something he would actually carry out, or is this something he would ask other people to carry out?
He just says what he thinks he should.
That's true. That's true. This is the whole Reef situation again, isn't it?
Because he was trying to stand up to the mob boss woman, but she wasn't really that fazed by him.
Oh no, I don't know. I think she was quite surprised.
Really?
No, she was. You could see she physically sat back when he said to her, "You're mistaking me." Yeah, you're mistaking me for someone who's easily scared. And it wasn't until...
And then Jay walked in the room.
But then, yeah, exactly. And then Jay, Jay is nowhere near threatening.
No, little bunny rabbit.
Yeah, and I feel... Why is he a bunny rabbit?
Little bunny rabbit in headlights.
Oh, I see. He was a bit...
Peeks through.
Yeah. Not a bunny rabbit in headlights. He's a Jamie Mitchell in headlights, Ben.
Oh yeah, original.
That's a reference, so next week we'll probably have that on EastEnders. But no, I mean, yeah, Jay was obviously trying to look all I'm not scared of you either, but he clearly was, and I mean, this isn't Jay's mentality. I mean, Jay likes to give out this kind of... Didn't he do a job with Ben recently as well, actually? I've just suddenly remembered. Didn't he do a job and he came back with a kind of bloody...
Yeah, he didn't want to do it, did he?
Yeah, but he did it anyway. Again, so why are they trying to make Jay into this
Too much gangsters, can't cope.
Yeah, but they're changing Jay. Jay's always had to be strong and confident for himself, but never someone who would unjustly do it. So I suppose what he's doing is a very just thing, but at the same time, it's he does have common sense.
And again, alcohol problem. Grab the bottle.
Yeah.
What would Linda say?
Funnily enough, the only one who's not having... What would Linda do? The only person who doesn't have an alcohol problem, and I'm sure you can guess where I'm heading with this, and should have, is Martin.
Yeah, that's true.
How has Martin just literally swooped in 2 weeks? Yeah, but in 2 weeks, he's literally become the nuclear of this whole circle square. Everything is all aimed around Martin. It's he's carrying the weight of Lacey Turner's story on his shoulders.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, it's all about Jay, not Martin, not Martin.
And it was really funny how he had a whole bottle of vodka, and he's about, what, £10?
Yeah.
It didn't seem to affect him much, did it?
No,
Have
absolutely.
a coffee.
Sober up,
sobered
Jay.
up, yeah. And then he had the little chat with Billy, and that's when he said his grand plan, and that's kind of where it was left.
Billy did warn him not to do it. Again, good sound advice by Billy. Billy really has matured recently.
Yeah, in that year.
Yeah, since losing Honey.
So talking about Honey. Billy and Honey had a little chat when she was feeling faint. Lifting boxes.
Yeah, and then went for a run round the square the following day. Just like, yeah, I'm feeling fine, I'm feeling fit.
I mean, are you still under your impression that she may be pregnant, or are you now on the eating disorder bandwagon?
I think it's pretty obvious that it's the latter.
Good. Yes, because she didn't want a sugary drink, did she? They were all either this week. Was it this week she said that?
Yeah, she didn't want an energy drink, wasn't it? I think.
And we had the wonderful, for a year and a half I've been saying I love the Ahmeds.
Yes.
They're both brilliant.
And then this week happened.
I don't know what's happened. Has the Arshad just given up, phoning it in?
The actor proper. I'm sorry to the actor, but it was
I love them normally, but
it was just weird, wasn't it? It was
two wooden planks on a sofa.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah, because Adam walked by, didn't he? And he just went. Ugh.
Yeah, when he just stared at Adam. Every time it was like Adam was like, "Oh, hiya, how are you both? Get away from me!" He just run off.
So awful. Miriam's like this weird sheepish. She just sits there and doesn't really input anything.
I really do think both the actors have just been told, you know what, these are your final scenes, and they both like, okay, we'll just come in, we'll do our lines and leave. It's odd that they're getting rid of them, in my opinion.
It is odd, but now that they just don't seem to care, or the writers aren't really writing their character, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, really odd, and the fact that Arshad hasn't even talked to Miriam apparently off screen since he found out about Adam. It's like a couple who have been married for 40 plus years, like adopted hundreds of children, been through so much together. Why have they not sat down and just talked to each other about what Adam's done?
It's really weird, isn't it? And when it came
unrealistic.
Out, well, when it came out as well on Friday, when he's like, I don't want your flight tickets, when Adam was offering them like a gift. And he tells him to get out. You're not the family anymore. He eventually tells Miriam, what had happened. Like, he's had an affair with Habiba. First of all, one, the fact that she said, oh, you've been talking to Billy again. I thought that was perfect. But two, she just kind of just was like, oh, okay then. Sat down, looked a bit shocked.
And we didn't see the conversation.
That was
it. Cut.
Yeah.
It's like, give us something. Like, they used to be really they were never decent characters. But
no, they were
always,
decent and they were good. They were good-willed and they always
but they had the
heart.
potential to be real good older characters. And now they're just like we don't even see them talking to each other as a couple. It's really strange.
I mean, the biggest danger sign was always that they never interacted, other than their first episode when they did interact with the king and queen of Walford, which Mick and Linda, and then they just were kept.
Don't tell Sharon you said that.
Oh no, she's queen in waiting.
She's king, queen of Walford. How and Phil.
Well, no, what I mean, sorry, by my comment of that Linda and Mick are the king and queen is that they are basically the ones that the writers seem to lean toward. But obviously, the true queen, the one with the white, the white slippers known as Nikes, is Sharon. Arshad and Miriam now were slowly kind of pulled further and further and further away because they did have stories when they were interacting with everyone, and then recently they've just been kept housebound, haven't they? And just
but it just doesn't make sense because Habib and Ikra got introduced, so we thought, oh, we're going to see a big family unit, and we didn't. So bizarre. And also,
I think we talked about it a week or so ago. They had the story with Bobby, and again, it would have been a terrific story for them to kind of nurture and teach Bobby the Quran and the ways of their religion. And again, it just feels like a wasted opportunity. It feels like it's because they can't think of a long-term plan with them, and because they want to quickly get Adam out of the way, and they've already shown links with Adam. It's like they're just kind of just wasting an opportunity.
Big missed opportunity. Especially when you have people like Patrick, who's been there like 20 years, and Big Mo, and then they like, why couldn't they be a unit of friends? Like, yeah, just because they're the same age. I know it's a bit stupid, but like something.
No, I know it is missing some kind of like mature audience, a mature cast somewhere. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of having lots of elderly characters in a TV program because I think it can kind of bog it down a little bit. With
you watch classic EastEnders and the best characters are the older ones.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why they can't seem to get them anymore.
I mean, they struck gold from the beginning when they got Dot. Let's be honest with you, and Dot they can't do.
And Ethel.
Yeah, of course, Ethel. But it's almost just trying to get introducing maybe 2 elderly women to join the soap or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something that they need to add there.
Yeah, it's a shame.
There's
But
a missing piece.
yeah, the storyline is just he was going to buy them tickets to go on a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Apparently. Because like that thing about Mariam not wanting to go outside seems to have disappeared because she was in the cafe having like a bit of cake.
Well, they were walking down through the market as well.
I guess she's over that now. She said her one sentence about it.
But this is it, isn't it? Every time there's the story related to them, it's literally just one scene and it's fixed. This week it was fixed because he told her about Adam in one scene. It was one passing line. Oh, he's had an affair with Habiba. And that was it. The
girls confirmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very odd. But
shame.
I feel the end is near. They've not even been announced that they're leaving, but it's looking like
it's very much heading that way, let's be honest with you. Like all the little ties are being,
tied up.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So that's us tied up. We're finished.
Are we?
The show, us. Our careers.
We're over.
EastEnders.
We're gonna split into 2 separate EastEnders podcasts.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would yours be?
EastEnders Weekly. I'm keeping the brand.
You're keeping the name?
The followers.
I have to think of a new name then.
You have to start from scratch. But before we do that, we need to finish the actual show where we discuss who won the week, comments from our listeners who are valued opinions rather than ours, which are wrong, and we also travel back in time.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So it's the time of the show when we read out your comments and we delve into the past with Ben, because Ben likes to delve into the past. Ben likes to be hung from different things we found out this week.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump to Ben then and find out the births, the deaths, and this time last year on the square.
We did. I went into a bit of a EastEnders time hole this week by watching an episode, and then a character said something, and then I went back to find what they were doing for what they said, and then I just ended up
just looping into lots and lots of different holes.
I ended up looking at every episode that Ethel was in by accident.
All right.
And that come from a line that Phil said that Kathy left last week. That's what my spiralling went on to.
That Kathy left last week?
Yeah. And I ended up with an Ethel. It was very confusing. I went into a big deep hole of episodes. But I'll get onto that later. So first up we got birthdays, and this is something I forgot to mention this week, which I was very annoyed at. I've been going on about Sharon's 50th birthday for ages.
Yeah, you have.
And it's off screen. She's
I know.
on blimmin' holiday. They're not even giving her big 50th party.
She needs a cake, she needs a stripper, she needs something to celebrate with.
Last year, she came back on her birthday.
Yeah, and she got a cake and a strip.
And a Keanu in the alleyway.
Yeah, and a Keanu, exactly.
But yeah, 22nd of October 1969, our little Sharon was born by Gavin. Given away to Den at a poker deal.
Can you imagine if she was actually put on the table with amongst all the chips, this baby?
Oh yeah, Ange will like that. Yeah, I'll take that.
I'll have that.
So yeah, that's, off screen, that's just disrespectful, especially her 50th. So we'll be moving on. Right, 23rd of October 1990 was Tamwa Masood.
Oh, Tamwa.
No one cares.
That was 1990?
Yeah.
I thought he was the same age as me.
No.
Weird to think that. Okay.
No,
I'm not that much older.
This is a weird. I don't know if it was mentioned on the show. I'm not talking about your age.
No.
I'm talking about EastEnders. 24th of October 2000, Bex Fowler was born. Was her birthday mentioned, or did they just forget it? Or was her birthday when she committed suicide? It wasn't, was it? That was just a party.
No, if it's this week.
Yeah, 24th. Weird.
24th of October.
Was that missed? They forgot that?
I reckon they forgot.
They watched the horror film.
But they keep doing lots of things. No, hang on. No. I don't think they did forget, because wasn't she doing like trying on all these clothes and dresses, and Martin was meant to be there for it, and he didn't go because obviously Ben's got.
Oh, was that for her birthday? Was it?
I think so. Well, she doesn't do anything out of the house at the moment, does she?
That's true.
She's not going to uni anymore, much to Sonia's.
She just started a YouTube channel of her songs.
She did do that, and then got bullied.
Yeah, she's to it again. No, she's in the house alone.
She's not alone. She's got Dottie.
Kirsty.
She's got Sonia.
No one's calling her Kirsty. You noticed that this week?
I know they kind of reverted back to Dottie.
Didn't take long. Last birthday, 23rd of October 2009, George Trott was born.
George, that's the son of Heather.
Yeah, so he's 10.
Who's looking after George now?
Probably that boy.
Darren?
Yeah, Darren.
Darren's got him.
Maybe he can come back in 10 years and take Ben down.
Yeah, you killed my mum.
Yeah, hit him with a picture of Heather.
Hit him with Heather.
So the episode I watched this week was the 22nd of October 1999, because EastEnders, the official EastEnders, we know last week they stole my bit, and now they do this time last year.
Oh yeah, because it's a good idea. So
Stole my bit.
Stole your bit.
I feel like Krusty the Clown. And they did Sharon Gate, and that's so obvious.
Should we call them Gabbo, the official EastEnders from now on? Gabbos.
You're Bette Midler.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did Sharon Gate. Too obvious. Everyone knows it's the 25th anniversary of Sharon Gate.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, don't worry about that. We all know.
So I looked into 22nd of October 1999, and this was a Phil and Grant special.
The 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where when I watched this, I remember watching this when I was a child, so I'm assuming you might remember it too. They were doing some sort of weird...
As not a child.
Yeah, they were doing some sort of like dodgy deal,
Yeah.
obviously. And there was like a thing of money that they took, and they were running away from the police. And they were in like a car park, and they went round and round, and they were trying to escape. And there's loads of like car chase scenes, and they end up driving into the Thames because Phil's shooting at Grant in the car.
Yes. Well, there's a few home truths.
This is where the Kathy thing that got me spiralling into looking into EastEnders for years.
Right.
Went from because Grant slept with Kathy. This is obviously after the Sharon Gate incident,
which happened 25 years ago.
Yeah, so there's loads of like things bubbling on, and Phil had a little gun. It was like tiny.
Well, the kind of things you get in like a cracker at Christmas, a little water pistol. You fill it up with like, and it's literally got one squirt in it, and then he's like, "Oh, that's fun."
And they kept arguing, fighting, and they were driving away from the police and got away again. And then Phil started shooting at the car as Grant was driving into the Thames.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
And they showed a big special shot of the Millennium Dome because it was just being built.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah, so there was a big like camera.
The O2, as it's now known.
And they went into the water, and obviously
Jean climbed that.
She did. No audio. She should take Daniel up there, shouldn't she?
Oh yeah.
Could have been a nice round story.
They could have again reverted. They could have looked down and said, "Oh, that's where Phil and Grant drove into the river."
Well, Phil was found. He was pulled out straight away by the police, but no Grant, no body.
Oh, no.
Assumed dead.
I mean, you shouldn't assume that someone's died in a river at any point.
No, Dirty Den's listening. So yeah, that was that episode. And then obviously he said, Kathy told me that you slept together before she left on her plane. She begged me to come to South Africa with her. And I thought, I want a bit of Kathy.
Yeah.
I want to see what she looked like.
We want a touch of Kathy.
It's when she had her short haircut. She came back for 2 weeks in 1999 because she left in 97.
What, to go to South Africa?
Yeah.
Okay.
The show. She left the show.
Yeah.
For the first time, and then she came back for like 2 weeks stint
to do Footballers' Wives.
Yeah. With Gary Lucy, the guy from Hollyoaks.
Yeah, which then she was on Hollyoaks, and then ruined her contract by being re-invited to EastEnders.
So yeah, then I just got in a weird spiral where I was looking at that, and then I thought I wanted to see Dot's last episode when she quit in '93.
Around about this time in '93, or just
no, it was like April.
So you've basically broken the rules now.
I know, but I got in a spiral. I was just explaining my state of mind.
But because Gabbo have basically stolen all of our ideas, you're now getting yourself into a spiral. And
it's because I wanted to see what Kathy looked like.
Yeah.
Because Kathy doesn't age.
Of course.
And then I thought, I want to see what Dot looks like when she left in '93 compared to when she came back in '97.
Okay.
And then Ethel turned up, and I thought, oh, I love Ethel. And I thought, well, she's not in it much, so when is she in it again? Then I ended up looking at her bits in 2000, and it was all this big thing.
I must say, when it's Ethel's death, can we make that this time next year?
I missed it. So that's wait till next year now.
Oh, is it quite recent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. It was like September-ish.
Of course it was. It's September.
Have to do an Ethel special.
I'd love to do an Ethel special.
I love Ethel.
If anyone's got any ideas for an Ethel special...
One of my favourite episodes, one we saw recently, 91, was her birthday and everyone forgot.
Oh, yeah, and then Mark bought her tickets for wrestling to see Big Daddy.
And she, gave loads of information about Dot's past to us.
Oh, that was fascinating, yeah. You found out that she was kept on the windowsill of the pub while her mum got drunk inside.
Yeah.
That was really sweet.
It was. Good old Ethel.
I want to do an Ethel special now. So anyone who's got ideas of what they want us to talk about, or
your favourite Ethel moment.
Your favourite Ethel moments, get in touch with us on Twitter at EastEnders Week, Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or email us at eastendersweekly@gmail.com. But I'll give you all the details right at the end of other social media you can get in touch with us. But yeah, Ethel special. Right. You've heard it here first.
Now you see why my mind kept spiralling. Now you know why. Now yours has. That's what Ethel does to you.
If Gabbo starts saying that they're going to do a Ethel special, I'm going to fume.
They even do a roundup now on Instagram.
Do they really?
A weekly roundup.
They're treading on very delicate toes.
We're here for free, guys.
Yeah, exactly. No license fee for this nonsense. Right, so thank you, Ben. We're going to find out who won the week this week. The 4 options were Leo's video games.
Video games?
Yeah, because video.
Oh, right,
playing games.
And he's playing mind games.
Ben's Black Magic.
Number 1 hit.
But also because he's being a bit naughty.
Yeah, that's going to win, but I shouldn't win.
Okay. Jay can't let it go.
No.
I haven't seen Frozen. I don't know why I thought of that. Anyway, and Chantelle's fear.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really good one.
Really
That's
good
like one
one.
of the best storylines because it's like real kitchen sink
Well, let me
in
give
the
you,
house.
Yeah, behind closed doors.
Mm.
Let me give you some interesting statistics about the vote this week. For the
Okay.
first time ever, there was a difference depending on the social network on which people voted from. On Twitter, there was one that was more popular than on Facebook, where there was another. So that's interesting.
Well, Twitter was hijacked by Ben Mitchell's Twitter account because he told people to vote for Ben.
That is true. That is true.
We're going to deduct 10 points. No, we're not.
No, because it means more work, so I'm not going to do it. but basically, you were right. Ben's Black Magic won, and I do think that basically Twitter was where it was most popular.
Of course it was.
But on Facebook and Instagram, Chantelle's fear was the most popular one.
I see.
And so that
intelligent people,
and that got second. That got 33% of the vote. Third place was Jay Can't Let It Go with 18% of the vote, and quite surprising.
God, that's 2 weeks in a row now. They're last, Leo. That's not good.
It's
this
genuinely
is an 18-month-long storyline.
I know this is a big Whitney storyline.
She's going to sign a 3-year contract for this.
Oh, was she
Shona.
actually? Oh.
She's not signed yet.
Oh, Shona.
She's getting the money up.
Yeah, that's it.
Because she knows there's 3-year plans. See?
But I wouldn't. If I was Shona, I wouldn't get them to listen to this because they might find out that perhaps her story's not that popular.
I like it.
I'm loving this Leo story. I really am. Yeah. I think it's great, and I love that they've involved Grey in it too. They try to make
he's evil, but now he's not the evilest.
It's like a moral maze, isn't it, for Grey? He can't decide whether to be good or bad in this instance. So very Grey. Like the area of matter that this is about. It's a very grey area.
Well, not really, because we know who's right and who's wrong.
That's true. A few comments, as always, on our socials. So first of all, about Martin and Ben.
I hope they're anti.
There's a few. One way and the other. Just like Callum. Martin and Ben. And Tubbs, yes. Martin and Ben. Comments about Martin and Ben. At Ryan Montague 16 said on Twitter, I thought Ben being a bad boy was almost over, but no, keeps going on. I hate this version of Ben, not just the character but the acting too.
I don't agree with the acting. Max Bowden's doing very well, but I agree with everything else.
Fair enough. At Jamie Coleman T on Twitter said, I'm Team Ben. He is way over his head. Yes, absolutely, that's in character, but for Martin to once again say that Ben deserved to have almost died when he was 10 was uncalled for. I'm thinking Ben's going to try and throw Martin off the bridge this time. He sent that comment before Friday's episode. So he was right.
He was.
At JSSL_96 said, honestly, I'm tired of this gangster Ben act. The focus should be on the relationship with Callum.
I just want to say as well how hilarious it was when Martin was dangling off the bridge and he looked through the train and Ben was standing there staring at him. It looked so stupid.
Yeah, looking. I wish they lit that.
I wish something hit him in the face.
Yeah, well, a bit of debris or a packet of Walker's crisps just like stuck to his face and flapped in the wind. At Little Glittle 1 said, with Ballon Phenomenon knocking competing soaps out of the way of the top spot, this bad boy Ben is a great example of the EastEnders team snatching defeat at the claws of victory. Don't shoot the goose that's laying the golden egg. That's interesting, isn't it?
Can you translate that, please?
So basically what he's saying is that they're using Ben's character in the wrong way. Instead of doing the gangster story, they should be focusing more on the story between him and Callum. Or Ballum, as he's romantically known as. Some comments about Chantelle and Grey. On our Facebook, Alice Setchfield says, does anyone else feel just sick anytime Grey and Chantelle are alone together? Yes. The storyline is so well written and acted, but it's horrible to watch.
It was.
Lily on Facebook says, I hate this story. I understand it is important to tell, but it's probably because the two of them portray the fear and anger so accurately that it's so very real. It's difficult to watch. And at Lucinda LC says, Gray's lying through his teeth about his therapy. Notice how he's controlling her more under the guise of spoiling her.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to therapy. No chance.
A couple comments on Jay as well on our Twitter. At Noir4Moon says, I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Jamie is and always has been one of the best, most natural talents that EastEnders has, and he's never given enough to do. I'm glad he's finally been given a chance to shine. Hopefully he will be given a full chance to shine and they won't just waste this opportunity.
Yes, he's one of the rare ones which has been there since he was a kid and he's not been recast. They need to give him something to embed him in the show a bit, I think.
I agree. Melanie Williams on Facebook says, I'm loving the dynamic of Ben and Callum and Jay. What a trio.
I prefer Tubbs as a trio.
Comment on Facebook about Kathy.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. My favourite type of comment. Better be nice.
Well, from Evelyn Lindstrom says, am I imagining things or are they pushing for Kathy and Stuart? That's it?
No. Could you imagine, after Kathy gets Rainey on drugs, gets her in prison, she then takes her man? Sounds like Kathy.
It does sound like Kathy.
No, that's horrible.
And at Ryan Wrights 97 said, this week's been an awfully funny week. I've enjoyed the Chantelle and Grace story, of course, but the Ben and Martin stuff feels very O'Connor/York transition period. I think he's right there. It does feel like it's a stopgap of a means to get to an end.
Yes, it feels unplanned to me.
I think it's planned. I think they've 100% know exactly what they're doing, but...
I don't. I worry. But I'm not going to comment any further.
And one last comment then I want to read out by Ricky Champ this week, because I don't know...
He got in touch, has he?
He hasn't been in touch, but he does defend Katie Jarvis, who was in the newspaper this week, the Daily Star,
newspaper.
The tabloid, the Daily Star, and they basically jumped on the fact that she's basically got a job.
Woman gets job.
Yeah, exactly, to feed her family. And Ricky Champ basically sums it up perfectly. So, anyone who doesn't know, Katie Jarvis played Hayley in EastEnders, and in the UK press,
Hayley Slater.
And in the UK press, she was found working a job at a discount store.
Really?
There's a UK discount store called BM in the UK, and they were being quite mean about it, basically saying, "Oh, look what's happened to her now. She's not on EastEnders." And loads of EastEnders stars jumped to her defence, saying, like, we've all done jobs where we've had to make money while we're in the interim of us finding other work. And Ricky Champ summed it up best with kitchen staff, removal man, labourer, painter and decorator, and literally 2 weeks before I got the EastEnders gig, I took my test to be a cab driver. We do what we need to do to provide for our family. This article is disgusting. So hear Ricky Champ.
And he can add cafe, gay bar and Indian restaurant to his list.
He's certainly in Indian fusion restaurant.
Oh yeah, and being a hot dog.
We all want to be a hot dog. Thank you all for listening. As always, you can get in touch with us on Twitter at EastEnders Week or Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find our Facebook group, search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join. You can email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube, again, to search EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find our podcast on all good podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, where if you feel so, why not give us a review and let us know what you think of the show.
Yeah, and that's all she wrote. So goodbye.
Bye.